with it's 5 p.m. and it's time for us to get started on day 2 of this free facility management training. Yesterday, we had a very exciting session, and I'm also pleased that we had such a large turnout, and that's also happening today. My name is Paul Erubami. I'm a facility manager. I have always worked as a facility manager. I've managed some of the largest facility management portfolios in Nigeria and across the African continent. All certifications and qualifications to practice as a facility manager. And for the last 10 years or so, been developing training content and capacity building for the facility management industry in Nigeria. So it's an exciting thing for me to do, to lead Max-Migold, training a couple of thousands of people so far in the last 5-6 years. And today we are giving out something we do 2-3 times every year, giving back series, where we reach out to the industry and get people into sessions where they can learn and acquire skills in facility management, exposing them to very important competencies that will help them succeed in your career as a facility manager. I've had quite a handful of questions about certificates, about the training materials and the videos of this class. Let me start with the videos. Everyone who has registered for these classes will automatically get an access to watch these sessions again. So that's guaranteed, that's a given. For you to get the materials and the certificates, you will need to do 2 things, actually 3. First, you need to attend the classes. And if you didn't attend all the classes, you should be able to view the videos of all the classes. That's the first thing. The second thing is there's a survey you're going to receive, and that survey has some questions for you to answer that expresses what you have learned. So if you're in this class or watching the video after the class, you need to take notes so you can be able to express yourself on what impact this training has been to you. Then you'll have the ability to pay 10,000 Naira as a token to have the certificate processed and emailed to you. Okay, so those are the 3 things. You will need to attend the classes virtually or view the classes recording. 2, complete a survey, and 3, make the token payment of 10,000 Naira for the certificates and the training materials. Okay, so that's taking that out of the way. Yesterday, we also provided information about our Telegram group, the Facility Management Training Telegram group. That group now has about 1,500 members, and they come from all over the world, where we share training opportunities, work or job opportunities, and we also share best practices. The link for joining the training Telegram group will be shared on the chat. So look for it in the chat. One of the admins will post that right now. Join that group, because that's where we give out information on a regular basis. There's no dull moment in that platform. We also have a Facebook group, facility management training and services group. Search for it on Facebook. I'm also hoping that we'll be able to drop the link for that here as well, so you can join us in Facebook to carry on the conversation from here. The Facility Management Mastercraft Diploma, which is our flagship training program that has produced an alumni of close to 300 in the last 5 years, is ongoing. And in the month of January, just next month, starting from the 10th, for the first time, we're going to have 2 batches running concurrently. We used to have either a hybrid, virtual and physical, or just a virtual since COVID came in. But for the first time, we'll be having a virtual class running from Mondays, 5 to 7 p.m., Wednesdays, 5 to 7 p.m., and Fridays, 5 to 7 p.m. And we're going to have an alternative group coming for physical classes in our training center at Unila campus every Saturday from 10 to 4 p.m. And these programs will run for 3 months. The link to get more information about the FM diploma will also be shared in the chat right now, so you can copy it, click and register, and also share it with your friends and associates. It is one program that redefines the career of a facility manager, whether experienced or fresher. Even if it's just the thoughts of going into the profession you have, that is the comprehensive program that does the trick. It just opens you to all that you need to know, and you become an expert in 3 months. Okay, there's some rigor, so be ready for an exam and be ready to write some projects, do some assessment and assignments. It's a formal program. It's a formal education. It's not one of those 2 days, 3 days short training that you go and do and hold a certificate that you probably have forgotten everything that you were told in 2-3 days. This is really deepening the roots of facility management in you. Max-Migold also have short courses, 2 days training for strategy, 2 days training for projects, facility management projects, 3 days training for facility management operations, 1 day training for generator, plumbing, air conditioning, so many training, strategy, masterclass, 3 days, and so on. They are all on our website. The website for our training is called www.facilitymanagementcourses.com. Go to facilitymanagementcourses.com. I hope someone can also drop the link of that as well. Facilitymanagementcourses.com. The first course you'll find there is the FM diploma course that you can start up right now and make your choice on whether you want to do physical classroom or you want to come online 3 times a week for 2 hours session. So that's about the management courses.com diploma and the short courses. We also have a learning management system that has over 150 productivity and desktop productivity courses that you can take. We have them hosted on our Shopify platform, and the link to that soft skills courses and workplace productivity courses will also be shared on our platform. Please share them all in all the links I've mentioned in the chat of this training session, this webinar. Share them in the Telegram group, share them in our Facebook group, and also share them in the Nigeria FM Initiative platforms. Everybody will know that there's a lot going on in FM, and you cannot sit in one spot and not know what's happening around your profession. And you cannot stay without growing yourself as a professional in this industry. That's why we are doing all of this. It's all about growth. It's all about taking a profession out of obscurity. It's all about improvements in our
245 attendees. What's happening?
Admin, can you please mute every panelist until it's time to make a presentation? Okay, so let's get into today's. Before I start in earnest in today, I would like to just do a quick recap. Yesterday, we learned about facility management careers, facility management business, introduction to facility management, and we learned a lot about how to position ourselves, get the job, excel on the job, and make that promotion and make that career growth or advancement. So today we're getting into the profession proper. So if you have heard about facility management, done a little bit of facility management, worked in allied services to facility management, if you have a discipline from quantity surveying, architecture, engineering, mechanical or whatever, electrical and the rest, or from estate management, from health and safety, whatever discipline you come from, and you have worked in administration, in corporate services, internal services, security, support services, logistics, and so on and so forth. There are so many areas where we have worked as facility managers without even being called facility managers. And that's what this, so this lesson is basically a way to help us elevate ourselves from that shop floor reactive, doing what they tell me to do, to move to the level where you know why you do what you are doing. Know exactly how you make impact on your customers and your organization, and then improve in ways that will make your service more noticeable, with higher impact, and give you all the results and promotion you need in your organization. So this is a very important lesson that you cannot miss. And that's why I put out in the chat for all the groups I shared with last night that we are having the best of facility management training happening today. So please sit tight, get your pen and paper out so you can take notes, because you will need those to express what you have learned out of this session. At some point later in the lesson, we're going to invite people who have come out of their spaces, taken the bull by the horn, gone through the diploma, elevated and changed their career completely, and had now have basically soaring high in their choosing endeavors. We're going to hear from some of them, just share some of their thoughts for a minute or two as we go on with this webinar. And then we'll get back into the lesson, and then I'll explain the core modules of the FM diploma so that everybody knows, have a glimpse of what we're going to be covering in this diploma that we're starting in a month's time. So in today's lesson, developing FM strategic framework, we're going to be talking about introduction to strategic facility planning, the FM system, startup information requirements, steps to developing an FM framework. And here we're going to embed strategies for achieving excellence in FM operations. I think the first question we need to ask ourselves really is why we build. Why do we build? What's the reason for all of these buildings that we put up, right? First thought is people will use the building, so end users. They want to live, work, play, worship, final resting place. And then think about safety, security, the well-being of the users, the aesthetics requirements, functionality of those spaces that we provide for them, and compliance with laws, building codes, because you could decide to put people in a space and be breaking the law if you do not meet certain requirements. So some of the reasons why we build. But the business owners who make all these investments in the infrastructure that we live in, work in, manage, do our business in, they want business returns, investment returns. They want to grow their asset value. And they care about capital planning. Facility managers are at the forefront of ensuring that these can happen for them, right? But then there's a fourth objective. The fourth objective is talking about that scenario where we build and we want to build cheaply. Objective 1, cost effectiveness. We want to build quickly. Objective 2, work within schedule, right? So if you have to project that is 3 years, do it in 3 years. Objective 3, work within scope. We want to deliver our projects and infrastructure developments within scope that's satisfactory to the clients. But the fourth objective is called operational readiness. This is driven by the fact that we build so that people can use the facility. And if we have that in mind, we should consider who will use it, who will maintain it, who will provide value in the long run. Okay, so that's a major focus for us as facility managers. And so that's why we don't want to just get lost in the fact that we have a facility and anybody can do anything he likes by way of management. There is a set standard, there are processes, there's a whole body of knowledge that you need to acquire to be able to manage effectively the assets, the people, integrating them together to ensure that they get the results and the objective they've set out in setting up the facility. Facility management operates as a professional practice at 3 levels. At the bottom is the operational level. This is the level at which most people, before learning about facility management, they react. If something is broken, they go fix it. But proper operational activities requires that you have routine inspections, you have execution for operations and maintenance, you report, you gather data, and you make decisions from those data. At the tactical level, you develop projects and implement those projects. You plan space management, you develop operations plans, maintenance plans, you prepare budgets. And at the strategic level, you create high-level long-term plans, asset lifecycle management, replacements and improvements of core assets, sustainability considerations, emergency preparedness and risk management all happen at the strategic level. Now, a facility manager should not entirely work at the lower levels of its operation, because it is only at the strategic level that you answer questions like, why am I doing what I'm doing? At the tactical, you can add what. At the operational, you are doing how. So if you know how to do something and you don't know why you're doing it, there is no chance that you're doing it right. And that's exactly why strategic facility planning is very important. So I call this model the big picture. Every business starts at the top, the level at which somebody buys the service of that organization. A business is set up because of a particular stakeholder group called customers. That business strategic planning in response to the customer's needs and requirements is at the strategic purpose level. The organization now creates a corporate strategy at a strategic planning level where strategic objectives, values, mission, and vision are created to frame the organization's way of doing things, the identity, the plans that they have put in place to respond and serve their customers are created at this level, because at the end of the day, whether it's a profit-making organization or a non-profit-making organization, you must satisfy your customers to continue to have them to come back. Otherwise, your business will cease to exist. The business units that make up the organization, marketing, IT, operations, production, and the rest, they all need to have strategic business plans. Without strategic business plans, they cannot effectively serve their customers. They cannot implement the corporate strategy. And without being able to implement the corporate strategy, what you have is that the organization will not be able to deliver customer requirements. So in essence, for the organization to be able to deliver customer requirements, every business unit must create a strategic plan. For the facility management department, we create a strategic plan called a strategic facility plan, and a subset of it called the facility master plan or the real estate master plan. Our plan is unique in the sense that we have to align with the corporate goals and objectives, and also align with all the other business units, because facility management is the strategic enabler of every business unit. So yesterday I mentioned that we come to work not like them. We don't come to work with them. We come to work for them because of them, right? So we create plans that looks deep into what they want to achieve and puts forward, strategies to support that success that the business units and the corporate, the organization at the highest level needs to achieve. It is out of those strategic plans we now come to the level of tactical planning. Most FMs today who have worked as facility managers for 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, probably started at the tactical planning level and probably ended their career and retired, not being able to see above that tactical planning level, where you have an operations plan, you have a maintenance plan, you create budgets every year, you create design plans and construction plans. And for many facility managers, this is high level enough. But what we are saying here is, no, you have to understand why your business exists. You have to understand the kind of customers your business have. You have to understand everything about what management at the highest level is thinking, so that you can create plans that align with them, so that the decisions you make at the tactical planning level will be in alignment, will contribute directly to the strategic objectives. So why do FMs always struggle to show their value to organizations? This is the main reason. Alignment is missing because they don't understand what the organization is trying to do. They don't understand what is working in the head of the MDs and the EDs and the C-suites. They don't know how to translate the strategy they hear from management into tactical plans that can lead to execution, and then reporting and validation of strategy through analysis of data. So what's this strategic facility planning? The facility management department envisions its future by linking its purpose to the strategy of the overall organization, and then develop goals, objectives, and action plans to achieve that future. Okay, and how do you do this? The strategic planning process goes through these 4 steps: understand, analyze, plan, act, which is implementation. You have to understand the organization's mission, vision, values, and goals, financial performance, customer knowledge, internal business processes, and learning and growth. There's nothing you are doing in facility management without this understanding that makes sense. And then you have to create your own analysis to break down your understanding of what your organization is passing through. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The SWOT is a very common analysis that is easy for everyone to think about and implement. And then develop plans to meet long-range needs of the organization, review the plans annually, and create annual, continuously reviewed tactical plans we just talked about. So before you get to that point where you are acting through tactical planning, you have gone into a data process where you have understood, you can now clearly analyze and create plans before you can say, let me go and start doing a plan or executing my plan. So how does understanding work? At the basic level, ladies and gentlemen, know what assets your organization have. How many square meters? What's their locations? What are the spaces? Who are the people using them? What is the performance of each of these buildings? Are these facilities meeting our needs as a business? Are there things to consider about how the business is going in the future that will make us want to either acquire more space or give up some space? Are we having the right investments in real estate and property that will meet the requirements of our type of stakeholders, our staff and our visitors? And then be able to look at potential scenarios. If you have data coming from the past, it will be easy for you to plot, into the future and make forecast simulations of likely operating conditions that you can respond to. Don't wait until you are told, oh, well, we need more spaces, we need to do this project. No. FMs that wait until that happens to them are the ones that have not learned anything about strategy. Your internal positive are your strengths, your internal negatives are your weaknesses as an organization. Your external positives are your opportunities, and your external negatives are your threats. Just a simple matrix, a small box like this can help you write down what we are good at as a business, what we are weak at, what are the opportunities out there that we can take advantage of, that we can grow into, what are the threats, competitors, and things happening around us. If an FM thinks that this kind of analysis is above your pay grade, be ready to lose your job, because when the business is beginning to respond and they don't see any reasonable contribution from you, you are going to be the first to be asked. Okay? And then you create a gap analysis because you now see exactly where we are going and you know exactly what you can do to respond. And your plans must be aligned with your understanding of the strategy of the organization. When you're done strategic planning, you have the strategic facility plan and the master plan. And then from these two, you generate or create tactical plans, which we call the annual plans. The budget is a typical example of a tactical plan. So just imagine how many times you have done budgets. You've done budgets without having any strategic plan to anchor your budget on. That budget is no use. It's of no use. And of course, we accept them. We work with them. Doesn't mean that we can't do better. Okay? The strategic facility plan is made up of statement of facility objectives, risk analysis of options, sustainability analysis, sources and uses of funds, operating expense analysis, return on investment, net present value, internal rate of return. These are all financial analysis, payback period, life cycle cost analysis, and cost benefit ratings of alternatives and recommendation with clearly stated assumptions. What you're doing here is you are looking at your entire organization's facility as a portfolio, and you are taking long-term, long-range decisions and plans that will be superimposed on every location you are trying to create a project or a new branch or a new campus of. And then the master plan is also what we call the site plan. It's one location, the site plan of that location, how that site will generate a flow between all stakeholders, visitors, and workers in that space, and how you're going to use that space over time to grow, whether it's going to be built in phases or whether you're going to have future plans to expand and so on and so forth, needs to be built into your facility master plan until you have the perfect facility that meets the needs of your organization. And then you create your plans to act, which are usually, what is the output of strategy? A new space, an altered or configured space. And then you have projects that you develop out of this to implement what your decisions and the approvals you've gotten for your strategy relates to. For a typical facility, and this may surprise a lot of people, you think that as at the time you finish building, you have spent a lot of money. Just like yesterday, I mentioned to you that real estate costs, property costs, facility costs is the second highest overhead expense category in most organizations. Just behind salaries of the workers who work in the organization. And this is another shocker. By the time you see that massive edifice that has been built and you hear the billions that have gone into it, I think it's okay to say it's okay for the owners and developers to, heave a sigh of relief and say, oh, we finally did it. But with asset life cycle analysis, they have only achieved 10% of that investment yet. All the future upgrades and improvements on that edifice for the next 50 to 100 years is more than 2 times the cost of building it initially. Now, listen to this, listen carefully. The operations and maintenance costs for running that facility, the energy, the cleaning, the maintenance that goes into that facility is actually 6 times the cost of building the facility. So what you learn from this, when you finish your construction and you know that we are ready with the facility, you need to think about the 90% that have not yet been invested. And so while you begin to use the assets, get value from the assets, you must keep a reserve on an ongoing basis, because this 10% in an ideal situation with proper planning should be able to yield enough revenue to cover this additional 90% of costs over its useful life, plus profits for the owners of the assets. And that is the thinking that I want us to have. That an asset is not just to be built, occupied, and then overnight allowed to run down. Because if you don't continue investing so that you can have a full asset that brings value, you are going to lose your initial investment over time and risk lives and property in the process because of code compliance issues, maintenance issues that are not handled, leading to risk, fire, and so many things, and value loss to the owners and to the users of the facilities. So you get into this brand new facility and you want to manage the facility. The first question is, what do you know about these buildings you want to manage? Facility managers are so proud about, we're so proud about our profession. And because we don't know much about the buildings, proper documentation and information that should have been given to us to enable us to manage the buildings, what do we resort to? We resort to keeping a bunch of construction people on site, automatically changing their careers and their profession overnight into facilities maintenance people. Let me tell you, the mindset of a construction worker is not the same as the mindset of a facility manager. They don't build and think about people. They build and think about buildings. They want to build and get out. A facility manager thinks about people, thinks about the business and the activity that's going to go on in that facility. It's a different mindset. It's a different skill set requirement. It's a different set of information to manage, requirement to manage. But that information can either come from the builders, or we'll have to find a way to reverse engineer the process of acquiring that data. If I come to your site to see how you're managing your facility, and I ask you, what do you know about the facility you are managing? You can't tell me you have drawings. You can't tell me you have an asset register. You can't tell me you have bills of quantities that describe the specifications and the material that are being used in your facility. You can't tell me you have information about the warranties and guarantees. You can't tell me you have information and licenses and permits that are required to be there. You can't tell me that you have operations and maintenance manuals, which tells you exactly how to maintain everything from floor to ceiling to equipment. So much information are required. Do you have that information? Or are you just managing facilities and you don't have this information and you think it's okay not to have this information? Immediately make an investment in the process of acquiring this data. When I started out my facility management career, I was still in 200 level in architecture. What was my first task? I was helping people who are working as facility managers go to their facilities to help them measure and draw.
1,200. 12 copies is about 3,000. So maybe you should just go for that 3,000. Now you afford that so that Mr. Amo will refund you on Saturday. Because it's a community.
All right. I would expect our panelists to stay muted if they want to speak so that we don't have distraction again. Okay, so if you don't have the information, I'll come in, I'll do the measurements, and I'll do sketches, and I'll do a material schedule to tell you what kind of materials you have in your building. There's a cost to it, but it makes your life easy, because when you want to scope maintenance, you end up calling contractors to come and do their own measurements and scope for you. You cannot compare orange to apple and get the best result or get the best price. You can't take decisions about system issues that are giving you faults or malfunctions because you don't know exactly how things run. You don't have information. You don't have specifications for the various components that make up your facility. So you can't even, send out a request for proposal, a request for quotation to vendors because you can't specify correctly. These are things that are information you're supposed to have on ground so that you can manage the facilities properly. Your operations and maintenance manuals are supposed to tell you what are the manufacturer's recommendations, what are the connections between different components in the system, and how they can likely fail. So you can prepare your maintenance plan based on a maintenance strategy that responds to failure patterns in your equipment. Beyond the building, you also need to understand the business, the users, the organizations, the teams that use that facility. Basic data like business requirements, business drivers and needs of the organization, site data. We talked about site data as part of the construction information requirements. What services do they need? A building will not be useful to the users unless you provide services. What services do they need? How is your FM department structured to provide these services? And then historical costs. You spend money on a daily basis. There must be a way to track and trend these funds you're spending. There must be some metrics for measuring your performance, whether you are giving best value in your spending judgments. And then key performance indicators. These are indicators of criticality or relevance of your services to the organization. How well are you doing with customer service? If customer satisfaction is dwindling, how do you track this? How do you even know that you're satisfying your customers or you are not? And then when there are issues, you start asking, has this happened before? Should there be information? Should there be data about what has happened before? Yes, because you can learn from what has happened before, how they were dealt with. So you don't make the same mistakes again. If there are vendors that have worked in the facility, as you're taking over the facility, get to know them, get a sense of the history of what has happened. You need to be on top of your utilities. How much are you spending now compared to the past? How does this measure up with the users of the facility and the value they're getting from it? And then you need to also think about emergency planning, risk management. If there's an emergency in your facility today, what plan do you have in place? Will your business suddenly go out of operation because of a facility hazard? There's so many things you need to consider as a facility manager. So we no longer want facility managers to operate at the tactical level. So you get trained, so you can learn, get the tools to start thinking and operating at a strategic level, such that when construction projects are being initiated, you are invited because there are some knowledge you have, there are some skills you have that will help to represent the future users and the owner's value. Things like sustainability considerations, maintainability issues, compliance issues, and user welfare can be brought to the fore during construction, from planning to design to construction, through testing, commissioning, and handover, so that the FM always has an input at every level, instead of waiting to receive whatever is handed back to us. Facility management works at 3 key levels, or at least manages people, manages the place, manages the process for providing results to these people. And that's what we are learning. And we use technology. We have to continuously stay ahead of the curve. And I said that a lot in FM business and FM careers yesterday. You need to understand the value of technology to what we are doing. Data and automation are the key things with technology. I'm going to go into key strategies for excellence in operations. And I'll take a little break to invite our panelists, and I'll have them tell us about their FM journey. Tell us about why the FM career has made a difference to them. Tell us about impacts that they make in the service they deliver to the organizations that they currently serve. And as soon as they're done, I'm going to have the FM Mastercraft Diploma modules brought up for us to review quickly. And then we'll come back to these all important aspects. If you are a facility manager, an admin officer, somebody working in providing services in the business environment, you can't miss these strategies I'm going to share with you. Okay, so please hang on, and I'm going to get the panelists up now. Okay, so with me in this webinar, I have Awe Taufik, and I have Olujimi Ogumfolu. I expect to also have Akin Ayeni on this, and I expect to also have Anayo Wambua. So if they are in the attendees, role, I'll ask that you promote them to panelists so that they can be here and be able to speak. So Awe, please take the mic. You're muted. Still muted. Can we please allow him to unmute? Yes, good.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good to see you. Welcome.
Good to see you, sir. Very well, sir. How is training going, sir?
Very fantastic. We're all doing well. The room is full. Almost 400 people in the class right now.
Wow. That's very good to hear. All right, sir. My name is Awe Taufik. My background is mechanical engineering. I've been into facilities since 2017 at Aero Contractors Company Ltd. And this is my 4th year in facility management. Yeah, my journey through facility management, I actually studied engineering in school, and I know about maintenance very well because I have a uncle that renders maintenance services, and I do follow him to work sometimes. So I have the knowledge of taking care of building and building operations at large. So my journey to aero contractors exposed me more to facility management at large. So I started in 2017 with my boss, and he was putting me through how facility is being run and operated. We did everything done normally in facility management. So come 2021, I was opportunity to meet with Max-Migold, and there I was taken through facility management masterclass diploma, where I was shown how facility management is being operated internationally and how the things are being done. The things are being done, the regular terms being used, the necessary and the most important things you have to figure out in facility management, such as facility condition assessment, how to do your facility condition assessment, owning an asset register, what entails and what should be in an asset register, and everything about your assets, the things you work with every day, how you do them. I've been taught of HSC and security audits. Actually, some organizations, they have their HSC department separate, but here also where I'm working, we have our HSC department separate. But I know how they operate. I've been taught in FMC diploma and on how to use your tools in HSC audit. And most importantly is emergency preparedness and continuity plan. What the thing is being based on, how it's being operated, and how to resuscitate from any business collapse or any issues, and how to resuscitate the business back in operation, and maintenance plans as well. Different type of maintenance from RCM, predictive, preventive, run to failure, reliability, all that, and how to tag each of your assets of your property to individual maintenance plans and budgeting. Actually, I've been doing budgeting with my boss here, so I know a little much about budget, but I still know more when I did the FMMC diploma. That's my route to facility management, and I'm glad to be here as a panelist as well. Thanks so much to the MD, Max-Migold. Thanks so much to my own personal boss, Mr. Makinde Michael from Aero Contractors too. And thanks to everybody. It's a very, very good thing to be here and to know much about facilities. We've been talking about engineering. But when you go to facility management, you talk about engineering, you talk about businesses, you talk about finance, you talk about so many things. Like MD do say, is a jack of all trades. You know everything incorporated. Thanks so much. Nice to be here, sir.
Thank you so much, Awe. That was fantastic. Good to see you and hear from you. And congratulations on your coming graduation on the FMMC. And I need to let everybody know on the 11th of December at the Next Innovation Hub at number 1 Hughes Street in Yaba, we are having the 2021 graduation. It's a big deal. And if you've signed up for the FM diploma, you have your automatic invitation to that graduation ceremony. Just come and enjoy and dine with us. Okay, but please sign up and then you're welcome. Thank you, Awe. That was a good one. Let's hear from Olujimi Ogunfolu.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
And Mr. Paul, I really appreciate the opportunity given for me to be able to share my experience with Max-Migold. My name is Ogunfolu Olujimi. I have a background in anatomy, which is quite different from facility management, but I get to learn along the line that facility management is a discipline that is multidisciplinary. Different people need to come together in FM space, which I showed interest around 2014, and I started FM in 2015 as a career, which along the line, I felt I need to develop myself, and I had to go to internet and search. That's where I get to know about Max-Migold, which I joined the training in 2018. And I have a masterclass certificate with Max-Migold. And the key things I take away from the class is I really appreciate the few trips that we did then during my time, because we are taken to some places that we could see things on site. We had physical process on AC, where we are taken to this place in Yaba where we see AC parts. We could identify compressor things that AC part that not just technician will just tell you this thing is bad. We could see it physically, and we are run through it physically, how this works, how this equipment had been changed and the requirement that are necessary for those equipment, which I really appreciate that field trip, as well as the trip to the Union Bank head office as well in Marina, which is something that was very insightful for me then, because we went through all the building, and we are put through a lot of process, how the generators are being run, the synchronization of the generators and things like that. I think the essence of things like that is just for us to know and feel the importance of FM, and for us to be able to identify most of those things, which is something I really appreciate. Another few trips that we had during my time. And the key thing I took away from this course is I learned to understand from Mr. Paul that FM role is what mainly we call management by walking around. And ever since, I really key into that, because it's when you move around your building, most times you get to see this thing. And he lay emphasis on a good FM should be more proactive. You should have less of reactive things to get done. So, and how could you be more proactive? It's not for you just to sit down in your space and be comfortable. You need to practice what we call management by walking around, moving around your building often, and get to know your space very well. So that will be able to make you someone that is more proactive in terms of management of your space. And the program is filled with so many course outlines that even once you start, you will just feel, wow, this is a program that what's taking, because it both from the financial management of FM, talking facility management strategies, the planning, and also talking about facility condition assessment. And I think another outline in this thing that I really enjoyed then was the course that I talked about emergency preparedness and business continuity. I could remember vividly what he taught us there, which for every business organization to sustain, there should always be what we call a emergency preparedness and business continuity plan in case should this happen. We take, for instance, nobody know COVID is going to happen, so businesses are not well prepared. It really affected them, but people that have a contingency plan, they're able to manage their way around their business and they're still surviving the COVID. So the essence of joining these classes just for us as an FM to have the required tools, the necessary tools to be able for us to operate well in the space. And mind you, this FM industry, it's something that the people that are at the top now, they are getting, let me say, they are getting hold. So within some spaces of years, we that we are still coming, we need to fill up those gaps. And this is a very right step and direction for us as an FM to start your career, to have a knowledge of the FM space and the built industry that, okay, once you are at that space, you could be able to progress in the industry. And also it's a very good, because there is once you are part of this class, there is a family of professionals that has been created. So you have an advantage of meeting other professionals like you, having to link with them, and you never can tell different things that can come up, opportunities that can come up from the group alone that we have. Even there are job vacancies that are posted in this group for people that have passed, that we see, that we help each other, we assist each other. It's just a one big family. So it's something I would appreciate people should take, and it's something that you won't regret and you really enjoy. Thank you very much, everybody. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Olujimi. You've been fantastic. Yes, that last point you made about networking.
Yes, sir.
When the wise men say your net worth is is equivalent to your network, you really can. I saw recent situations where an alumni is leaving for another job, going higher in another organization, and he advertises his position into his alumni group and picks somebody else from among his old classmates to take on that job. So that hand holding and lifting, and I see questions being dropped every day, about different aspects of facility management. And I just sit back and I watch how, guys support themselves. There are so many comments from classmates that when I read it, I'm like, wow, this is even better than the way I would have responded if I were to solve this problem. So fantastic things are happening. We are building the largest network of qualified facility managers who have the body of knowledge, who have the skills and competencies, who are delivering value where they are. And one thing that they will not tell you, most of these guys that have gone through this program, is it's difficult to pin them down now on a job that is not paying well. It's so difficult. Initially, when we started, we used to have, take people out and send on internship, where you probably not be paid for 6 months to get some experience. Now it's almost impossible, because within 2 months or 1 month into the program, the way they answer their interview questions will make them the best candidates. So they're already picked for jobs, paying them multiple times before they even finish the program. So it's fantastic. Nobody will come and tell you how much the salary has increased, because nowadays security problems will not allow us to start discussing that. But there's been so much progress in the lives of each person. And I can assure you, no dull moment in your career with the FM Mastercraft deployment. So thank you very much, and congratulations, Olujimi, one of our earlier graduates, and who is holding strong in the FM industry and growing fantastically well. So thank you so much. I'm going to quickly run through the modules we're going to be covering in the FM Mastercraft, just give you a sense of the content, right? So just think about this. FM Foundations is an introduction lesson. Some of the content in today's lesson is part of the FM Foundation, basic operations and maintenance. The FM career course, what should you be looking at? We start early in the beginning to talk about your career. Don't just come into the course and say, I'm here to learn. No, you have to have a plan from the beginning as to where you want to drive your career from here. And I can tell you that I've had some people come to the class, very matured, advanced MDs of companies, come into the class, after 1 or 2 classes and they start asking questions like, why did I waste so many years? Why did it take me so long to find something that's valuable, right? So you plan your career from the beginning, be able to make an impact in your organization. Business case presentation is how you present yourself, how you work professionally to do business cases that make management to give you approvals. If you don't get approval, you never got a chance to succeed. And you cannot say you're successful anyway because you have good ideas that were not approved. Your ideas have to be approved and implemented before you can claim success. And then you manage people. So the human resource class is all about how you manage your team. Strategic facility planning, how you elevate your thinking to start thinking like your MDs and your CEOs and your EDs. You have to get to understand your organization to the highest level. Start putting yourself in the shoes of the customers, the reason why your organization exists. It will help you decide better everything you do at the operational level. That's what you're going to learn there. And FM contracts, the contracts are the vehicles for implementing all of our services. There's so many wishy-washy contracts. I've heard people say things like, oh, let the lawyers write the contract. Let me tell you, the contract includes a service level agreement that is 99% of that document when it comes to FM contract. And the entire content of an SLA comes from the professionals in the field. So you, the FM, should be the one developing and drafting your contract. You must understand how to define your problem. You must understand how to define and break down the scope of work that's required to solve the problem. And you must know what it would take from a contractor to deliver it. So you can have performance measures and service level expectations built into it. That is a big class that you need to attend. And the customer service. We are a people management profession. The biggest impact you can have on your career is your impact you can have on people. We serve people, everything from taking their trash to feeding them, to give them drinking water, to make sure they have a place to use as toilets, to ensure that they have electricity to cool their heads when they're stressed, and everything. We impact lives. If you don't understand how to take care of customers, the career has ended at the beginning. There's no forward for you, right? So customer service is a big aspect of our operations, of our service as FM. And then financial management. This is huge. We spend the second largest overhead category. If you don't understand how money works, if you don't understand how organizations earn money and spend it, you will always be making attempts to spend and miss, and you'll be creating problems for yourself. So everything that has to do with finances, basic accounting will handle. Quality management, again, about people. Compliance is here. Focus on people and their expectations. Don't set expectations for people. Understand their expectations. Focus on quality improvements. You can't keep doing things the same way. What are the tools you can begin to use to track your performance and trend whether you're making progress? That's what we're going to study on that day. Performance management. Manage yourself and manage people. There are tools, there are skills, there are competencies to cover in this area. Facility maintenance strategies. We hear maintenance, maintenance, maintenance. What you hear as maintenance, what we see as maintenance right now everywhere, is not really maintenance. If you are just fixing things, you're not doing maintenance. What strategies should you deploy to effectively organize your maintenance around proactive principles? How do you plan for your maintenance? What kind of records should you have in place about your facility? We complain that we didn't get records, we didn't get data, we didn't get documents. Which one are you preparing now so that whoever is going to take over your building later will have information to manage it? And then there are laws that govern the built environment. We all have to have regulatory compliance. So what are these requirements? What are the building codes? Design, build, commissioning, we're going to look at the construction, the development cycle, and how we can impact that cycle, how we can contribute to it. Then asset management. What do I own? In what condition are they? And what are the characteristics and features of the assets I own? What are the parts and components that make them? How can I track and give account of the assets I manage? Everything from equipment to spaces, we need to be able to account for the value they are giving to the organization. And then sustainability. The FM is responsible for the built environment, which is a contributor almost 50% to global warming in terms of energy consumption and waste generation. Sustainability is a big aspect. And sustainability also helps us reduce costs and make our business survive beyond just the startup or just the few years that they struggle. We can determine whether our businesses and organizations can be sustainable or not. Health and safety, big aspect, and I talked about that a bit a while ago. Building electrical maintenance. I'm a facility manager. I'm not a technician, but a technician cannot fool me, because all that I need to know to be able to master electrical and supervise that technician, I need to have that information. I need to know all of those troubleshooting tricks. So this is an amazing class that you can't miss. Air conditioning. You know that if somebody is uncomfortable, the brain starts working upside down. They become irritable. They become irritated. They become, you know, you can't get anything good out of them. So every time you don't understand what provides comfort, bodily comfort, you are creating stress and you are killing the productivity of your organization. It's not about engineering. This is about understanding comfort cooling and how to provide it. What are the issues that you may have? Project management, information management, plumbing maintenance, building fabric and structural maintenance. You have all parts of your buildings in your care. And you cannot say, you know, when you see something that is about to go wrong, you cannot tell the difference. That's what we're going to cover there. And then firefighting systems, cleaning. Cleaning is a very you know, soft point. It's touchy. If somebody says, oh, I love this office, I love to work here, it's probably just talking about the ambience, the feel you get. And much of that can come from cleaning. Even organizations that charge premium, that you perceive as high quality environments, that you can't even go and start negotiating for their product or their service and start pricing it down. Facility management has a lot to play in how they have been elevated to become premium and high value position. And then your gardening, landscaping, and waste management, what you need to learn there, workplace hospitality services, occupant services, how to start an FM business, and workplace productivity. Many people don't know that the job they're looking for is right next to them. They don't know how to find it. Some have jobs today and they lose it almost as quickly as somebody loses anything. What is it that you need to learn about starting, finding a job, staying in it, getting promoted, and moving on along your career path? Most people don't have a career path. They never created one. You hear things like, I'm looking for work. You know, if you have anything for me to do, please, I will do it. I'm a fast learner. I am this. That is, you know, we don't encourage such things. You need to know exactly where you're going with your career. And when you do have a job, what is it that an employer sees in you to say, this guy is a valuable contributor? Many don't know. They just think that when you go to work and you answer yes, sir, and you do all the things you've been asked to do, then they'll say, yes, you are top, you are doing well. No, there are specific performance requirements when you are productive in the workplace for you to know you are successful. Okay, so that's an intro into the FM Mastercraft Diploma. And like Jimmy said, you have ample opportunities to go out and see some of these things we are talking about, right? So you can actually relate with what you are being taught in class, okay? You can easily relate with them because you will take you to sites where you can see them for real, okay? So I hope you're all excited, and this time we have decided to make it open, you know, everywhere across the country. you can be a member of this program. You don't need to come to Lagos. Okay, in fact, the physical class is going to be very limited. We can't admit too many into that class because of physical distancing requirements during this period. So the virtual class is going to be a massive opportunity to get everybody. And this is how the experience is going to be. Okay, now, the difference is that in this case, you're in a webinar where I have to, bring you up to the panel to make a comment or ask a question. But in the class, everybody are panelists. We're all members of that room. We're all going to be able to see ourselves, ask questions, discuss. It's almost as if you are in the same room. So prepare yourself. And then for those who have questions, I know you have quite a handful, please write them in the chat. If you didn't get an answer from the moderators of this webinar, you'll also be given a chance to ask the question, voice it out and show us your video and ask your question real time, live at the end of this lesson, as I'm going to continue now. So, facility operations execution strategy. Facility management is a teamwork. You work with people. So you must plan on how to have the right kind of people, the right number to meet your requirements for today, and have people on standby for your future manpower requirements. I do interviews all the time. Not because I have all that vacancies all the time. I just use that to meet with people, and I have people that I call up to say, there's an opening, there's an opportunity, are you ready? It's not that time when the opportunity comes and I start looking for people. You must know your customers. You must know exactly their expectations. If you ignore your customers, you are actually being a very, very bad facility manager. And that is not something I recommend for anybody. You cannot assume that the customers are all supposed to be alike and whatever you give them is what they will take. No, you need to understand who they are. And customers are not often that category of people you think they are. Sometimes the Oga Madam you are thinking is the customer might not really be the one making judgment about your service. It might be the house help. So be careful in understanding occupants' requirements. Expectations could be timely response, proactive approach to problem solving, timely resolution of identified problem. Some customers are happy to tell you that they've observed something wrong with the service you're providing. And they're also happy to see you respond to deal with them. But there are many customers that are already irritated and annoyed by the fact that you waited for them to notice that something was wrong. You have to know those two different kinds of customers. Some of us overpromise and then underdeliver. You're killing your reputation. You're casting aspersion on yourself because you now are telling the world or your customers that you're a liar. You come 5 minutes to an appointment. You call 5 minutes to an appointment to say you can't make it, when you knew 30 minutes ago that you can't make it. Or you come 10 minutes late and you feel you want to be commended for coming on time. You must have care, respect, and courtesy for your customers. And you must not see facility management as an opportunity to line your pocket. Most of the cost overruns, most of the excess charges and costs we pass to customers are not really value-adding charges. Some of it are actually fraud-related, kickbacks related. And some of it are just sheer ignorance. You can't negotiate right. You can't get the right product. You don't know the difference between fake and original product. You just keep wasting your client's money. They will not see you as a professional facility manager. Professionalism in outlook. How do you approach your work? You're having a meeting with your clients and you don't have a note and a pen, for example. Just the mere fact that you are taking notes already make you look professional. You don't appear nice, you don't appear good, you stink. Oh, the work is too hard. Therefore, I don't have time to shower, right? Or you go and get a job done and the whole place is messed up and you say, oh, well, the cleaning is not our job. Our job is to fix, and we fix and we want to go. You need to understand your customers and provide service quality attributes that aligns with them. Your facility, the facility you manage, you have to know them. I'll ask you questions randomly. How many square meters? How many liters of diesel do you consume? How many people work in your facility? Who are these? I'll ask you random questions. And if you don't know it, you want to go and refer to some documentation, then you don't know your facilities. There are standards for everything we do. Standards start from the compliance, from the minimum requirements, and work all the way to high standards created by companies and multinationals, set by organizations and individuals and professional bodies. Standards for work procedures, personnel quality, material standards, tools and equipment, health and safety, and environment. We need to understand all the standards in FM. The facility manager's job is not a reactive job. I sit, they have a problem, they call me, I go and fix. That is a losing job. That's not FM. And FM job is to make sure that you are up and about and you see things before they break. You document, you correct. That's basically what FM is about. Management by working around, like Jimmy mentioned during his panel contribution. You have to continually learn. There are some FM departments that have been doing things in a particular way for 3 to 5 to 10 years. And the new FM comes and says, oh, that's how they've been doing it. That's how we continue doing it. Document, document, document. We talk about data. You have to have information that shows that you're actually working. You have to have records that show that you're providing value. You have to have records that can be referenced for future decision making. Otherwise, you will make the same mistakes again and again, and the next person coming after you will continue with those mistakes because there was no proper documentation. So everything from security, HSE incidents, procedures and standards, your drawings, your O&M plans, everything, you must have them in electronic files at least, and make sure you can refer to them on a continuous basis. Emergency response and incident reporting, things will still go wrong, right? It's either you've planned a disruption to wash a tank, to fix a generator, or it just happened. In facility management, we want to be as proactive as possible, but things can still happen that will come, that bring about disruption. So if I ask you, what should you do if you find something suddenly go wrong? Should you go ahead and fix it quickly, or should you talk to people first? I'll hear all kinds of answers, but the truth is you need to give people an information, a quick information to say, this thing has gone wrong, and these are the information that I have about it. What just happened? What's the reason for this? Is it planned or a sudden breakdown? What's the impact? Who is it going to affect? How long is it likely going to run for? You know, what are the current actions we are taking? Estimated time of completion. When am I going to give you the next updates? And then when I'm finally done, I come back to say, it's been done also. Thank you very much for your patience. You will see that if I am proactive in sending this communication out, I won't get my phone ringing and buzzing and making me unable to focus on the solution. HSE is facility management's job. I had a comment yesterday's class where somebody says, oh, facility management should be under HSE. And I just laugh, right? Because the people that use a facility, they need to be safe, but they also need to be provided with all the services. The systems need to run to help them achieve their goals. So HSE is just one aspect. The FM must know how to use the tools for HSE. Job hazard analysis, safety data sheet, daily toolbox, HSE meetings, reporting and fire drills, HSE audits, PPE use, so many things. Because at the end of the day, if something is wrong with your facility and the HSE guy picks it up, he sends it to you to go and fix. You are the one that is accountable ultimately for people's safety. The FM's job is an inspector's job. You cannot expect what you don't inspect in this profession. You move around, you see your workers working, you talk to your clients and customers in their spaces, you feel their pulse. You know what is required in the field. Nobody will lie to you because they know that randomly you will show up to check. Report to your organization and your bosses, but also report to your customers. Customers need to know exactly what is happening in the operations that you're managing. And then always plan. You cannot start a job without planning, or else you go back again and you have rework and you have issues with the job. Quality management systems, quality controls. We talk about HSC. When you have an issue, a disruption, sit down and document lessons learned so it doesn't happen again, okay? And then you work with people, right? So if you work with people, you must know how to find them. You must know how to train them. You must know how to set the expectations of their work, set performance metrics, supervise them without micromanaging them, evaluate their work, and help them continuously improve. You can't leave someone to his device in a profession and say, he proved that he came here and telling me he was a plumber, so he's been employed, go and do plumbing work for me. I need to ensure he's the right person who understands what I'm trying to achieve. Otherwise, he'll go and piss off one of my clients and do something nasty that will lead to even problems that are not, you may think it's not facility management. When your clients or your users are angry because of the behavior of the wrong staff you brought, you see how complicated your life can become. Many of you don't know why service charge is not being paid by some people, or why some people who pay service charge before stop suddenly paying, or they start paying you in trickles and start holding their funds to themselves. And so many things can happen just because you have the wrong foot soldiers in front of them. And you think, oh, anytime I come and apologize and tell them, oh, sorry, it's not my fault, it's my technician. They're so ignorant and they're so this and that. You're just telling them who you are, how poorly you are in managing your workers. Starts with a job description that tells what the job will entail. Without a job description, of course, a job could be anything. Succession planning. There should be people on backup to replace those on the main operations. And there are people on your team should know exactly what the next level will be for them. Of course, because you have created a system that helps you transfer skills down so that others can see that if they acquire these skills, they too can become like you at some point. When managing people, think about the impact you have on them. Are you always criticizing every negative without ever picking something good somebody has done? So we say catch people doing things right. Doesn't mean that every now and then you won't, have to reprimand or discipline people, because we are humans, we make mistakes. So wrongdoings are different from mistakes. Mistakes can be from a genuine intention to do something good and a negative outcome. But wrongdoing is a willful act that can lead to risk, hazards, or something more destructive that needs to be punished. You need to be balanced enough to do both. When the year ends, you want to ask, how's your staff done, right? But at the beginning of the year, did you discuss what the expectations are? Were there goals set? If there are no goals set, then there's no basis for a performance appraisal or evaluation. Okay? And there must be some kind of harmony between the individual and the team you fit him into, as well as the task that you've given him to do. So, as a supervisor, you must ensure that the team pulls together to achieve the task, give them direction, admit your own mistakes and weaknesses. Because if you keep positioning yourself as that strong man, people will not open up to you again, and you may not see a lot of things that's going on in the team. You cannot say people know what they are doing. You have to train them, okay? Each person has its strengths and weaknesses. You get to know what their strengths and weaknesses are. It helps you decide how to place them and what kind of work they can do. Planning is key managerial function. Research shows that less than 5% of management time goes into planning. So we hear about the Pareto principle. 20% of our time will produce 80% of our productive outputs. Can you afford not to manage at least that 20%? Work will expand to fill the time available for it. So beware of the implication of this. Time is the scarcest resource that we have as FMs. Because while we are thinking of planning strategically, things are pulling us in the reactive mode. So to be able to maintain some balance, itemize what you need to do and prioritize. Do your hardest work in the morning. And then there are so many things we spend our time doing, like holding meetings, move them to off-peak time so that the best work can be done. Okay, and then you can't work forever. Everybody have to have some break. It's important that we try to reduce distractions, especially when we want to do strategic, some paperwork, some process, some content development. And as an FM, you can't afford to be falling ill. So whatever you need to do, exercises, good sleep, so that you can maintain your health, you need to invest in them. As part of managing time, watch out for procrastination, the act of putting things off to the last minute. You hear of student syndrome. Some of us don't delegate properly or delegate at all. So our hands are full. We don't believe anyone else around us can do the things we are doing. Learn to use this matrix to be able to filter out noise from around you. What are the things that are urgent and important? Those are the things that are necessities. But the things that are important and not urgent are the most crucial. That's where you should stay. They are your proactive activities. Things you settle down to do without being under pressure. So if you've taken off your proactive, then the next category is your necessity, the urgent and important. Deadlines that are coming, things that you must deliver. But you see that urgent and not important, as well as not urgent and not important, have very little activity in that area. Your phone rings, one buzz, you check who. Oh, somebody has just posted a picture on Facebook. You have to see it first. You can waste half your day just following those buzzes on your phone, and you won't know exactly what's happening. Or a call comes, and the person at the other end does not know that you have work to deliver, and he's just talking and talking and talking, and you don't have the presence of mind to say, I'm actually in the middle of a task. And you say, oh, my life is stressed. Most of the stress we have in our works today are self-imposed. They're self-imposed. Just because you don't have control of how to manage yourself and your time. Because our work involves people, we need to develop and have skills for managing people. When all you have is a hammer, everything begins to look like a nail. Soft skills encompass personal, social, communication, and self-management behavior. They cover a wide spectrum of abilities and traits. When you know your job very well, it's, oh, you are a good technician, you are a good administrator, you are a good this. Those are hard skills. You can learn them. But soft skills are who we are. Do I really like my customers? If you have bad mind towards your customers, no matter how well you know your hard skills, you will always have issues. No matter how well you know the job, you have to have genuine concern. If you have a good mind, good relationship with your co-workers, you will have a good result. So soft skills are actually very important when it comes to FM. Reason being that you need to be able to connect with the hearts and the minds of those you work with. If your team sees a danger or something going wrong and they decide to pull you into it in an inconvenient hour, They either have not been empowered to act, or they don't like you and they don't see that as their problem. So they will get you back into the problem that they found. But if you are a good facility manager and you can connect, you can learn good relationships, and you can be trusted not to line your pockets with official resources, and you have habits that show that you love the work and you are committed to it, even the things you don't know will be brought to your knowledge. The things you can't do will be done for you. You will feel and look like a superstar because of your soft skills. So delegate, set clear objectives for your team, enable people to express their feelings face-to-face, recognize and accept differences are dealt with openly, conflicts are worked through, don't allow cold shoulders to continue in the organization. The norm is to listen attentively to each other, regularly review ways of working, team members support and trust each other, clear structure of communicating and conducting meetings, clear procedures for planning, resources are allocated in advance to agree priority needs, not assuming you are right and others are wrong, allowing space and time for the team to get to know each other, and being honest with yourself and with others will help your team to be effective. As a leader, as a manager, you are not an automatic leader. You're not an automatic leader. Leadership requires that you can sow a seed in the hearts of people so that they can own the vision that you have shared with them and they can run on their own. If you have a winning team, they'll be more engaged, they'll give you more feedback, they will give you more ideas on how we can improve, they will be less absent, there'll be fewer conflicts between them and less turnover, people leaving and you have to hire and fire. There will be increased staff productivity. Your cost for attending to sickness and other things will go down, and your staff will be happier overall, including the fact that you reduce accidents. To achieve this, you want to implement quality principles. Get it right the first time and always by paying attention to details, improve customer satisfaction, save money and save time, give value. But how do you give value? You have to first of all think about yourself. Who am I? Personal awareness, personal accountability. Your focus should be on the customer to provide value to that customer. And then you are trying to improve on what you know on a daily basis. So you can keep improving and keep increasing on your productivity. Some ways to do this practically is to standardize your task. You put down step by step how things are done and share that with your team. To improve performance of any activity, increase the frequency of feedback to those engaged in it. More frequent feedback will mean better results. Thomas Monson said, when performance is measured, performance improves. When performance is measured and reported, the rate of improvement accelerates. If you are not generating reports that can be tracked and trended to show whether you're making progress or not, that job is useless. Even if you're not asked to give reports, find something to generate data about your performance. Because the question will be asked one day, what do you really do? What value do you even add? But we have people in the front, the cleaners, the security guards, the artisans who go to maintain. These are people that the customers meet on a regular basis. If you treat them like trash, they will treat your customers like trash. And your customers will perceive your entire department as trash. Treat your employees as they would want to be treated, with open communication as to what work and quality standards are expected of them, in such a way that they feel valued and an important part of your FM operation. Treat them with courtesy and respect. They're humans, they have families, they have blood running through their veins. Don't insult people. As individuals whom you can give praise and feedback to. As individuals, you can be open and direct with, respectful. If they have done something wrong, you can still respectfully correct them. As those who are valued for their feedback in your FM operation, give them a fair wage. We call it a fair living wage, right? at least in Nigeria today, we have minimum wage. Why do you still have cleaners out there in the market who are earning 18,000 and 19,000 and 21,000? I still don't get it. Package the job in such a way that it can be producing value instead of having 100 people in the space. They are doing very little and you can't pay them so much. Why don't you make them part-time workers so they can have time for other things they want to do? Or condense the job into a few hands and pay them well. Give them the tools they need to work. Let your workers know that you are willing to learn from them. And treat them as those who are capable of improving themselves and earning job promotions or progress. If your workers are treated this way, of course, we've talked about all the good things that can come out of it. I'm going to wrap up now in the next few minutes, just talking about some quality principles, quality management principles that you can apply right now and turn around your operations. Number one, base your management decisions on a long-term philosophy, even at the expense of short-term financial goals. What does this mean? Instead of using shortcuts to solve problems, think about the long-term impact. Create continuous process flow to bring problems to the surface. Avoid disjointed activities. If you map your processes by saying, how do we do this? Step 1, step 2, step 3, you put that there. How do we do that? Step 1, step 2, step 3, you put that there. Anybody doing that job any day knows the steps to follow. You don't leave it to the whim of Mr. John or Mr. Musa or Miss Mary to do it the way they like. Otherwise, at some point, the customers will start saying, oh, if Miss Mary is not around, nobody should come here because the others don't know what they're doing. Set the standard. Use pull systems to avoid overproduction. This simply means deliver to meet customer requirements. Don't decide in your head what will be good for your customers. Spend the time to understand your customer. Level out workload. This means maintain a balanced workload across resource group. If your electrician is sitting down and your AC guy is working around the clock, you are not being a wise manager of resources. But what is the real problem? Oh, AC cannot do electrical. Electrical cannot do AC. And this is a fallacy that we have lived with for a long time in our industry. What is in AC servicing that an electrician cannot do, that we have divided it into two? In fact, call all of them building technicians, building handymen, so that they can learn quickly from each other. We call it cross-training. Build a culture of stopping to fix problems to get quality right the first time. If something is going wrong, you are seeing the handwriting. Why do you want to wait until you see the final failure? Standardized tasks are foundation for continuous improvement and employee empowerment. Use visual control so no problems are hidden. Reporting. Report all the time. In fact, have a system of reporting that does not allow things to fall through the cracks. I can have a single report that you will be putting all your input forever. And I'm seeing your past. I'm seeing exactly what has happened so far. So there's nothing dropping. You can report something today, and I'm trying to rack my head around to see if that's still something you're finishing. No. Use only reliable, thoroughly tested technology and supply chain partners that serve your people and processes. Grow leaders who thoroughly understand the work, live the philosophy, and teach it to others. You see, in all these operations where you have somebody that, if he's not there, this will not work. He's the only person that can do this. Look, if I give you chance to open up and let others see what you are doing, and so that they can be able to learn from you, and you do not, I'll kick you out. That's my philosophy. Because I cannot make you a leader when you are going to covet the work and hide the skills to yourself. Develop exceptional people and teams who follow your company's philosophy. Respect your extended network of partners. We've said this again and again. Go and see for yourself to totally understand the situation. You don't expect what you don't inspect. In FM, you must be up and about. And I have the rule of thumb. You must be up on your feet at least 50% of the time in a day. Which means you can't be in office bound for more than 4 hours if you have an 8-hour day. make decisions slowly by consensus, thoroughly considering all options, and implement decisions rapidly. Finally, become a learning organization through relentless reflection and continuous improvement. You must be improving on a daily basis. That's our lesson for today. I would like to give some time for questions, and luckily I was able to save 20 minutes for this. So let's see whose hands up, what questions have not been answered in the chats, so that we can take them right now.
I think most of the
Caroline, can you take care of this, please? Let's see if we can promote people who have questions to the panel so they can ask it, or if we can read out some of their questions on the chat. All right, so I have a handful up. Chinaza, can we hear from you, please? You're still muted.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm a student.
Welcome.
I'm a student, and my brother referred me to this program, and I started yesterday, and I'm enjoying it. Really want to thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so my question is, like a student, I don't have any idea in facility at all, any.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask, because I feel even doing this program, I will still need to do a lot.
Yes.
I will still need to do a lot. So I want to ask, what can I do to be in the right path? Because I'm currently doing a course that is not related to facilities at all.
Yeah. What are you studying?
So I'm studying town planning, urban and regional planning.
You are very much in facility management, my guy.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So let me just give you a guide, right?
Okay,
take the
sir.
FM diploma and take an internship opportunity. So what I've not actually announced is that for youngsters, right? Once you take the diploma, we send you to organizations to go and practice what you have learned as an intern. Okay?
Okay.
That gives an opportunity to implement certain projects. At the end of our training, there are 6 projects. You are going to develop an asset register, you're going to develop information assessment, you're going to develop an emergency plan, you're going to develop a HSC, a maintenance program, and a budget, right? Now,
Yes,
these are things that many organizations don't have out there. We'll give you the tools and implement them for them. So they'll be happy to have you work for them for free. Some will pay you some stipend. Internship nowadays, there's some stipends, but we want you to prepare your mind that these 6 months you are going for this internship is part of your training. So if you are going to prepare your mind to do a 9-month program, then 6 months out of it is for that internship. Once you have that, you will now have the 2 things you need to have maintain any job. The first is the training and the certification, and the second will be an experience. Even 6 months experience enough to expose you, especially if you spend those 6 months doing these projects, we will guide you through. So yes, you are in a very good, and don't underrate urban and regional planning, my guy. That is a fantastic profession because the opportunities are no, I don't even want to go there. So please, FM is a path for you to take. And when you're urban planner as an FM, no, you are in good standing, okay?
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I'll take Onyekachi.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, welcome.
Thank you, sir. No, I didn't have any question. I just joined the class.
Okay, I saw your hand up. All right, let's hear from Prince Will.
Thank you so much, sir. Like I wrote in the chat, I'm so excited because this training is coming very handy and timely for me. Because by God's grace, Monday I'll be resuming as a facility manager in a new organization that I was just employed. And that is going to be the very first time I'm working in that role, you know, and this training has exposed my mind to an unusual knowledge. And I like to say that for the fact that it's even come for free, you know, gives me an exceptional feeling that I'm going into that office, you know, branded, remolded, you know. Even myself, my expectations are high, you know, and I can only but say very thank you to Mr. Paul. And now, one other thing I want to say, or let me ask briefly, because through the training, I've also come to realize that project management and facility management seems to be two of a side. Is there any specific difference between a project manager and a facility manager? Because throughout the training, I've been able to see that a facility manager is much more professionally inclined than a project manager, because I've done projects, I've managed projects, and listening to this training has given me a sort of an edge, okay, from just managing projects. So are there any clear-cut career difference, okay, so that one can better, you know, have a focus pattern, okay, you know?
Good,
so
good.
That's what I wanted to ask. Thank you, sir.
Project management is a competence or skill. Facility management is a profession where project management is one out of all the many competencies and skills you need to deliver as a facility manager. I hear people say, I'm a professional project manager, and I just wonder, what does that really mean? You are either a construction professional who is a project manager in construction, or you are an IT professional who is a project manager in IT, or you are a finance professional and account professional who is a project manager in finance and account mergers and acquisition, or you're a real estate professional who is a project manager in, you know, investment and real estate trust and the rest, right? What am I saying? Almost all professionals, even medical doctors, they need project management skills. If you come to me and say you're a professional project manager, I will say, ask you, in what domain is your profession? Because I cannot take an IT project manager to go and manage a construction project. It will be useless. So the profession is still the primary focus. Project management is an enabler or a skill, one of the skills you need to succeed in any profession. So let nobody deceive you by saying you're a project manager. You are a construction professional. Construction is a profession. FM is a profession. IT, finance, real estate are all professions. Project management is not. It's a competence that you need to survive or succeed and deploy certain aspects of other profession. Okay? I'll take Chidi now. Chidi. Chidi is not going to speak. He's not there. So is there anybody else that needs to promote it? I think I've taken everybody that is here. I just want to say to everybody that are on this program, there's something you can do for Max-Migold. I know all those, thank you, Mr. Paul, thank you, Max-Migold, but you can do something for us. You can go to our Facebook page and like Max-Migold. You can join our groups in Facebook and our Telegram groups. You can go right now to LinkedIn and please search for Max-Migold and follow the company. And then you can also connect with me on LinkedIn as well. But above all, go to Google. All of you have phones and there's Google in your phones. Just search for Max-Migold on Google and give Max-Migold a review. Not just the stars, not just the 5 stars, but a comment that expresses how you feel about what you're getting from Max-Migold. Please do it now, okay? It's very important that we have this kind of community growth from you. We want to be sure that as we're giving back, we are also feeling the impact, the love of the community that we are giving this to. I just need to reiterate again, certificates and the training materials will be made available to all those who, one, participate in the 3 days of training or watch and review the 3 videos, which everyone will get access to, complete a survey, and pay a token fee of 10,000 naira to have the certificate processed and sent to you. And the materials for this class, these 3 days, sent to you for free. If you sign up for any of our training in 2022, starting with the Mastercraft Diploma in January, you will be immediately refunded the 10,000 naira you paid for this particular certificate you are earning right now. Okay, so don't worry about oh, this 10K, whether should I do it, whether if I do it and then whether I'm going to pay it and then I'm going to do the diploma. Pay it and take the diploma. And then as soon as you register and you show us the certificate that you paid for, you will get that refunded immediately. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we are running an early bird bonanza of 10%. It's a massive rebate on the FM Mastercraft Diploma. So the training that is physical, that is 300,000, is going to be deducted. You're going to deduct 30,000 from it if you pay, in this month for the program. The one that is 265,000, which is the virtual program, you're going to take out 26,500 from it because you are joining the program and you're getting this exclusive offer from me right now. So let me see who else has a comment, a question. Femi, you can unmute and speak.
Good evening, Mr. Paul.
Good evening.
Good evening, all. Mr. Paul, you call me again for as one of the panelists.
Femi, did I get your email address?
Yes.
Okay, tomorrow. Send your email address and you'll be on panel tomorrow, okay?
No problem, but I will still like to say something. I want to tell all the new members who have joined for this special edition. I would like to say that one of the strongest points of a facility manager is coordination.
Yeah.
Because you have to know how to coordinate the effort of technical staffs and other employees in order to on contractors in order to achieve that particular result that you tend to get. Without coordination, there's no facility manager. You need to know how to coordinate all efforts together to achieve it. And I want to say that this particular edition, this particular facility manager program that Mr. Paul has been running, I've always joined almost everything. And especially when I now notice that he's running a free program for us, I'm always quick to join because I'm always learning one thing or the other. It's always very important for me. And as I am, I'm very, very young and I manage a 500-bedded hospital, which includes every other environment. It's a very big hospital. And it will not be easy though, but at least I'll be achieving, making its way despite that. So I want to say that it should be very nice to at least, you can't always depend on the fact that, okay, after learning and everything, you sit on it, you have to read also on your own and to extend those areas to know, because you always have to be at least two, let's say, you have to be at least far above the technical staff because they want to argue with you that, no, this is how it is done. And you have to be able to think ahead of them that you can actually make alternative ways now to achieve this particular thing. So sometimes when So when I even get confused, I also ask questions from facility management initiatives. So also I'm able to understand from other experts who have been in that session before. So this particular facility management, this is very, very good for everyone to be able to at least understand and be able to follow up with. And I'm sure you enjoy it very well.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Femi. That was fantastic. There's something I didn't quite mention. We have group discounts. So if your company is bringing everybody, your FM team, into this program, depending on the number, you could actually get as much as 40% discount on everybody, right? So if the number is 5 and below, you get a 20% discount. If it is 10, 15, 20 and above, you can get up to 40%, depending on the number. So please talk to your HR department and say, this is our productivity fix. This is our value addition to our organization, and let them, push everybody into the program, and you see what kind of discounts we can give you. Yes, Dandy. Dandy, are you there? Okay.
Good
our
evening.
time is, we just have a few minutes more. Yes, go ahead if you're there. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Dandy. I studied estate management from the Best of Nigeria, Suka. I think a friend of mine introduced me to this. Your company. I was supposed to run the program earlier this year, but due to some challenges, I couldn't. I appreciate you for all you're doing. It's not easy. Coming to bring this thing free is not easy in this world of ours and the challenges, the economic challenges everywhere. I really appreciate that. But I wanted to ask, for the diploma courses, I want to know the breakdown. Then if you're applying for it, is it possible for one to pay instrumentally, like your fee, or be a one-time payment?
No. So we have instrumental payments. Yes, you can pay 50% and start the program. So if you start paying now, by the time the class starts on January 10th, you must have paid half, right? And then within the next 1 month into the class, you pay the balance.
Okay, I really appreciate that. Then I would like
but again, just 1 minute, Dandy. If you are taking installment payment, you don't get a discount. Let's just be clear on that, right? If you're taking installment payment, there's no 10% discount, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. I see that those are all the people that have been promoted to talk. Panelists and admin, if you can pick one more person, I still have 2 minutes from those whose hands are up in the webinar. Let me see who's been brought up. I thought I would get a lady brought up. Looks like we're not listening to any of them today. Olumide, are you a man?
I'm a male. I'm a man. Yeah, good evening, Mr. Paul, Mr. Paulo.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Olumide. I'm into facility management. Well, I work with a real estate. Real estate is into facility management and also in project management. So my session has to do with the real estate aspect of the business. But there are two businesses in one company. Right? So working real estate. So for the real estate, well, let's say facility management is the major one. So I'm an assistant where I finished with BSc in psychology. Last year I did a training, solar installation, which gives me some knowledge on verticals. So currently, as a psychologist, I'm also working as a facility assistant for the past. I started from February, so So I mean, I'm very new. I came in as an entry level. So it was for good 2 weeks. There were so many challenges and all that. But I have to start the job in the middle of the month. I was like, in the middle of that month, there must be something. There are so many challenges. Maybe some.
We have to wrap up now. Time is up, Olumide.
So, well, I really appreciate this training. It's giving more knowledge about facility management.
Thank you so much, Olumide. Bless you.
Thank
you. So, finally, on a final note, if you are working in facility management right now, or any related professions, take this training so that you can anchor yourself for your future career. Too many experienced FMs have lost their job and they're no longer being considered for FM jobs because they've not been trained. They have certain bad practices they have gathered over the years that they've not modified into best practices because they've not had the training. And so they are struggling to find jobs. Whereas there are hundreds and thousands of jobs looking for FMs who know what they are doing. Employers are now smart to know that FM is not just a job you can do anyhow. So if you don't know it, within 5 minutes in an interview, they know this one is just trying to use, how do you put it, church mind to win this job. You'll fall flat on your face. All right, so that's the first. Secondly, if you are out of any of those engineering, quantity surveying, architecture, any of the built environment courses, and you want to rise quick up in this built environment, enter FM now because the opportunity in FM is huge. I was going to a class in Unilag to teach master's degree students. I met my senior in school when I was an undergraduate. He was coming for a master's class as a student. What was the difference? The difference is that I moved into facility management and I went all out, and I'm now an exceptional leader in FM, teaching master's degree students, whereas those other people who are in the built environment, architects, engineers, and the rest, they are still struggling with the career paths. FM is a differentiator if you're in the built environment. So don't wait. And like I said yesterday, the built environment construction can wane. If the economy goes down, construction will go with it. If the buildings are all built up, construction will stop. But both the old buildings and the new ones being built will be managed by people. So the opportunities for FM is going to keep expanding, while the opportunities for other professionals in the built environment is going to keep narrowing down. So please take this opportunity now and put your foot in the door. People have wasted time. 2017, they wanted to. 2018, they wanted to. 2019, they wanted to. Their career is still stagnant. Whereas those who just came out young, took the bull by the horn, they've changed jobs twice in 4 years, and they're not earning 300,000 or more. So please don't mess with your career again, okay? This is an opportunity for you to elevate and make that change. Don't think it is money. Money is not an issue, because in less than 3 to 4 months, 6 months, you have made the money back, even if you took it as a loan, okay? So thank you very much. I'm going to end at this point. It's 7:04, and we've taken as much as we can. Please prepare for tomorrow and come in early so you can get a seat in the webinar. Thank you and bye-bye. Good night, everybody.